Hi, welcome to the Introverted Poets podcast. My name is Miss Monroe, the co-host of IPP. Today I will be filling in for Ilana Jade. For those of you who do not know or have not heard of us, we are a shy space for the introverted poet and writer. And for the brave hearts, we have created our very first YouTube platform. As you have heard, we've switched up the game a little bit on this season to add a little spice to our podcast. On today's amazing episode of the Introverted Poets podcast, we have a member of our very own pro wrestling team from 5-Star Wrestling, Dyl Dempsey. And I hope you are able to catch part 1 on his amazing episode with our very own Geeky Fit Mama. Today we will be doing part 2, hosted by yours truly, Miss Monroe. Without a further ado, let's get the show on the road. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Introverted Poets podcast. My name is Miss Monroe. I am the co-host of IPP, and we are here today with Dyl Dempsey, the wrestler. This is part 2 of his interview. So I'm super excited to have you on the show today. How is your day going so far?
Ooh, man, it's good to be back for part 2, and not too bad. It's been very relaxing so far. One of the few off days I've had, and I can't remember when, so it's pretty nice, I feel.
Yeah, you seem pretty busy these days.
Oh, yeah, just a little bit.
Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us here again on IPP, the Introverted Poets podcast. So let's get started with your interview. So since the pandemic has started, how has that changed wrestling?
Oh, man, that's a hell of a question to start off with. So I'll tell you. Firstly, in the obvious part of it, there was the whole 6 feet apart, no gatherings of 10 or more. That affected especially the national wrestling scene like WWE and AEW to the point where they had to film basically in a closed set with just very limited people because they were basically under contract to film content for their providers. And it's they had to wrestle in front of no people, just barriers, and making sure everybody was testing and safe and putting on, entertainment for all of us during this hard time. And when it came to what I do, which is the independent wrestling scene, it hit even harder because it was the middle of March 2020 when everything just went haywire and shows left and right just shut down. But I was one of the few people that was like, nah, man, I think we were all unaware of what this was, we didn't know the severity of it. We just heard what the media said about it and what doctors said about it. So I was one of the few guys still wrestling, but I was wrestling just with one of my best friends at the time. Shout out to Raxo. And it was just us two everywhere trying to do the online thing. Hey, just get a referee, 2 of us, a cameraman, that's 4 people, boom, film content, put it on YouTube, Facebook Live. And it worked for a bit until April is when the whole state shut down and we were down. So
the whole, what was it? Where everybody had to stay at home, you're not allowed to go out after 8:00 or something, or we'll give you a ticket. Damn, that was pretty savage. But man, you definitely sound like an unstoppable force. No matter what, sickness and health, you go hard in the paint, man. I just want to say, I really, really love your energy too, man. As soon as you just came on here, man, you just got a lot of ambition. I could feel it. Just feel the good vibes.
Thank you. Yeah.
But yeah, that sounds really, really intimidating. Especially were you guys wearing masks and stuff? Were you gloves or in a full full mask?
I mean, when we went out, yeah, but when we wrestled, it's a lot more difficult, because it's right on over here, covering your nose and mouth, and we're athletes for the for the term of it, whatever people may think professional wrestling is. We're on the move. We're training. Our everywhere moving in there. So we did have to wrestle. Well, not have to, but we did wrestle without masks. But of course, we took proper precautions before and after. And thankfully, at that time, none of us got sick, especially like the referee, the camera person, or one or two people.
Especially you guys, because you guys are the ones doing the most touching. Like, yeah.
For real, but thankfully.
Physical contact. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it was something, I'll tell you.
I really wasn't very scared about the whole pandemic thing. Like, I know everyone was going like nuts and stuff, but I was like, oh, my faith will keep me together. And ironically, it did. So I'm like, oh, I'm a believer now. So what was your dream match? Like, what is your dream match? Like, what does that look like to you? How do you envision that?
Ooh. You see, that's a good one. I mean, for years, there was always this one wrestler that I looked up to, because especially he's been there for years, from when I was a kid to when he just retired, technically officially a few months ago, but someone like The Undertaker, you know, like this big, huge, tatted up looking biker, dead looking character. And it's like, yo, now that's a challenge I want to go through. I know I'll get, but hey, I'll be in the history books, you know, like something like that, some big challenge along the lines of that, or anything similar to that, you know.
Oh, yeah, that'd be pretty dope, man. I would definitely love to watch that. So that's your dream match. Awesome. So how has Laredo's Texas water situation affected you, and how did you manage that?
Ooh, that's another good question. For the most part, thankfully, not too much, because, and shout out to my mom, she went a little crazy before the pandemic, like stocking up tons of water and everything. Like, she believed what she read, you know, like, oh, we need to stock up on this and that. I'm like, whoa. But hey, I mean, I have a lot of leftover like bottles and gallons from like, Lord knows when, maybe a couple of years, if not a year ago. So I was able to like take those with me whenever I'd travel. So I never really like went through the tap situation or thick in the shower situation, except I think one time, unfortunately, I think I felt it, but I didn't know what was going on, because I drank some water, because now I don't do this anymore. And I learned my lesson, but sometimes I would refill my gallon with tap water, and I was fine for years. Like, you know, I'm like, oh, I could save a few bucks, you know, but oh my goodness. One day before a show, I was like halfway done with the gallon, and I was like, okay, this doesn't feel right.
Your
okay,
stomach start feeling ugly.
Yeah. And I'm like,
that whole time with the water situation too. I didn't even find out till about it later. I'm over there brushing my teeth in the shower with the water from the shower and stuff. And then I start feeling sick out of nowhere. I'm like, oh, okay. And then I saw it on the news. I'm like, oops. And
I read it here tonight. I'm like, God damn it. The one day I fill my gallon. Yep, forget it. And it wasn't that bad, thank God. Once I stopped drinking it, I just went to buy bottled water, or it was at the venue that had bottled water. So I saved myself there. But that's about the only time it affected me or my family. Like, my mom still went with the gallon route, thank God, and she's doing good. You know.
Well, your mom sounds very, very intelligent, so shout out to her. Yeah, because like, you know, we should all actually be more prepared for these type of emergencies. You know, not just like the water emergency. You know, everybody getting COVID and stuff like that's just a huge eye opener, like for the public, for humanity to be like, hey, we need to get on top of our shit. You know what I mean?
Legit.
Oh, how about the weather situations? Like, how did that affect you? Like, you know, because weather's been kind of crazy. There was that freeze, and then we had that recently. We had that it was raining, you know, and then there was like, oh, tornado warning. I'm like, oh my God, am I gonna die? Like, and I'm like literally standing outside, like waiting. I'm like, where is it? Where is it? Is it coming? Should I run? Like, I don't know if I should believe this, because this is Laredo. So I was like, just questioning. Okay, if the wind starts going crazy, we're getting in the car and we're leaving. Like,
well, funny enough, the first thing that came to mind was the freeze of, if I'm not mistaken, was that 20 or 21? Fill me in on that.
I think that was last year.
The 21, yeah. of 21, I'm used to going up to the Midwest with my family up in Bartlett, which is a suburb near Chicago. So it's like, oh, a little cold never hurt me anyway. Shout out to Frozen, by the way. But, as lame as that. But thankfully, it did not affect, my household, like when it came to electricity or the heater situation. But I know a couple people like within South Laredo and stuff that it affected, some of my good friends. And I was trying to like reach out to them, see how they were doing. Thankfully, it was just maybe at least several hours, if not up to a day, that they didn't have heat or power. But I heard more up like towards a little more north, like when those pipes aren't used to that freezing cold in Texas. That it was a crazy situation, a bizarre thing. Like,
you get snow over here. All the plants died. That was horrible. Like over here, I live in the southeast area of Laredo. So like our water wasn't affected, but like it was kind of hard to take a shower. You get me? Because the water's freezing. So like water was okay. Electricity was definitely affected. I think we were hit for like 3 days. Like, luckily my dad's a cowboy and he has stuff for like camping. So like we had like a little this little gas stove. So you just buy like the propanes, right? But he was like, to heat up the house and stuff, we use we have a what's it called? The fireplace. So we have the fireplace, so we use that to heat it up. But he was like, oh, let's be extra smart. And he brings in that big thing that they use to make tripas.
Yeah.
It's like you put a big pan on it, it has a big flame. He's like, let's put that in. It's propane too. So we were using that and an extension cable. But yeah, to take a shower, I had to boil my water and it was freaking freezing. I was like, oh, there's a towel, like blanket. It's just...
Good Lord. Yeah, that's bringing memory.
Has any of these weather conditions like affected your training or like your matches or anything?
Well, as of late, no, because last summer, I think it was like middle of July 2021, there's a venue right next to Jet Bowl. It's by PPG Paints on Gale Street. It's called the VSR Arena. It's the first indoor training facility officially of professional wrestling in Laredo. And we've got like pretty much everything made there in the sense of we've got a roof over our head. We've got, electricity, running water, bathrooms, locker rooms. It's like that has been the saving grace because for years I've been training in backyards and front yards and just outdoors. So it would have definitely affected us a long time ago. But nowadays it's like, we're in the arena, like we got 2 rings in there,
right?
One deep through mostly. So we're good, thankfully, on that end.
That's awesome. So who is your dream person to cut a promo on?
Oof. See, that's a roulette. That's quite the tough one. But I would say, I'd probably get roasted. But over the years, definitely someone like John Cena, who's one of the best is out there and knew how to like dig into you to the point where it's like, oh man, he's right. Oh, how do I counter this? Like I wouldn't want to see how I'd do against someone like him who knows the ins and outs and how to get in your head, and that's really fun, a good challenge.
That's super amazing. And then he went into acting. Like if you were that big, would you go into acting after that? Or like,
you never know. It saved my body a little trouble, but I'd probably miss wrestling a little too much.
Yeah, you definitely look like you have a lot of love and passion for it. So that's awesome. So when you're working on commentary, how is that different from cutting a promo on somebody?
Ooh, I've never really been asked that. So that's a good question, honestly. So the difference is with a promo, you're trying to sell something. You're trying to sell the match, the opponent, the venue, like everything. Like it's basically an advertisement, a commercial. It's like, hey, this is me. I'm facing this guy. It's here this Saturday, 7 p.m. VSR Arena. Be there. Boom, like a little infomercial. But when it comes to commentary, you're selling the match. You're selling the individuals in there.
Yeah.
What's the story? Who's this? Who's that? Why are they wrestling? What's the purpose? Is there a championship on the line? Like you're trying to put the whole thing like basically as marketable, like get the people to pay attention. It's not just, who are these two? It's like, no,
They definitely put the oomph in there, you know, like they make like extra drama too. And they're like, it's like, oh, you know, hanging on my seat, what's going to happen next?
It's like, think of the old school narrators, like in movies. It's like, and as you see, he's across the street. Like, you know, it's like that, but with action, live action wrestling.
That's super awesome. I love that.
Oh,
if you have a valet, who would it be and why?
A valet. Well, that's a good one. If I were to have a valet, right away, I would think of someone like, even if it's just for one night only, there's this, shout out to Lilith, by the way. She's this valet from San Antonio who manages Alexander Crowley. And it's just like those two have like an immeasurable connection. And it's like with how she portrays herself and how serious her character is, it's like, I want to see if I can get toned down like that, because I'm usually not over the top, but I'm like very intense and very like driven to what I want to do. But if I'm like,
I get that from you,
you know, like if I'm locked down, it's like, damn, let's see if I can be put in line, basically like, hey, focus, take the task in hand. It's like, bam, that someone could like, even if it's like a one night only trade, it's like, heck, let's see if I can take that challenge, you know?
Yeah, I definitely got to be able to handle all that energy you got.
And she has that like in the palm of her hand. That's something very rare from just a valet, not a wrestler, but a valet.
That's so awesome. I definitely love that. I bet the viewers are going to love that too as well. So I know some of these questions were actually a little bit off the script. And you're like, oh, she's throwing me curveballs. But since we're going with the energy and the flow, like, because I know that we did, like you did mention some stuff about like training earlier. I actually wanted to ask you too, like this is my personal question just out of the blue. It just popped into my head, right? Like, like, do you train other people too? Like, how would somebody join your like wrestling squad?
Well, I'm not a trainer per se. I don't think I would be qualified for that level yet. It's not like, you know, like in the gym where you have to basically study for like not a membership. I lost the word. Like study to become a PT or study to become like
a personal trainer.
Right. Like it's basically based on experience level more or less, or like your knowledge and your wealth of it. But I am one of these senior guys there. Essentially, I do train at 5-Star Wrestling Academy under Luis Ramirez, aka Spartan. And I graduated there like quite a few years ago in 2016. But at the VSR Arena, the place I mentioned on Gale Street, is the training school that takes place weekly, usually Tuesdays, sometimes Wednesdays and Thursdays. And there's kids there as young as 12 to people as into their lower 30s, if I'm not mistaken. So quite a variety of people. I'm basically like the go-to of like, hey, Dyl, show them how to do this hold, or hey, Dyl, finish this sequence for me, you know, since you're like you can do this a certain way. Like, so I, in a way, do help influence some people in their training, but I'm not exactly a trainer. I'm just kind of like.
So Luis would be the trainer. But okay, so if they wanted to like join the squad and be a wrestler, like what would they have to do? Go to training?
Yes. And basically a way to do that is either just show up. It's an open door policy on 719 Gale Street. We're very welcoming, very open. You just talk to either Juan Isaac or Luis Spartan Ramirez. Those are the two head guys of the VSR at the moment. Or on Facebook, you can either go to VSR Arena or 5-Star Wrestling Academy, shoot them a DM, and right then and there, they'll directly talk to you and see what they can do.
Awesome. Yeah. I thought that would be a good question to ask, just, you know, in case any of the viewers like, you know, have dreams or aspirations, you know, to become a wrestler, you know, they would know, you know, exactly who and where to go to. So that's pretty cool, man. What would you say to like new people trying to join? Like how like, would you motivate them? Like people who are like, I want to be a wrestler. I really want to do this. This is the dream of my life. Like, you know, I want to go with this. I want to be a rock star, superstar.
Oh no, totally, totally. From what I can tell, anybody who's aspiring to become a professional wrestler, it's gonna take work, just like anything. You know, you just gotta work as hard as much as you want to do it. Put in that work, and it's gonna help. Trust me, because it's gonna take reps. It's gonna take time. It's gonna take a little bit of pain because it's a physical sport. It's not just an activity, but it's a physical contact sport, just like or any other thing, you know, but we don't have an off season essentially, but just put in the work, be coachable, be willing to learn, take criticism. And it's a brotherhood, sisterhood. It's a family. You know, we all want to see each other succeed, at least in the environment that I'm in. And just get ready to have some fun, make some new friends and memories along the way. And trust me, that process, it's going to be really fun once you get up to where you want to be, and you're going to be thankful that you did it as much as you want to do it.
That's some amazing advice. Like, if I ever wanted to be a wrestler, which I personally, I don't think I can handle all that physical contact. Like, I was like, I don't know if I can do those backflip things. And they're like, you don't have to do backflips. I'm like, I don't know if I got all that flexibility. So maybe not for me, but I like to watch. I'll be a good spectator.
There you go. We need supporters. Yeah.
I don't know about doing backflips and stuff. Think about it.
Yeah.
So aside from wrestling, what other passions or pursuits do you have?
Well, I did go to TEMU here in Laredo, and I got a communications degree when it comes to media and technology. So it was like a good little mixture. And I had a minor in theater arts. So if anything, I've done a minute amount of acting when it comes to like short commercials, short like 10-minute videos for projects, video editing. I love listening to music, discovering music, video games. I at one point have thought about maybe streaming, but I've never gotten around to it because there's like these add-ons I have to buy, like a gaming laptop, an editor. It's like, like I got a camera, you know, but stuff along the lines of that I've dabbled into for quite a few years, like in my off days. So that's a pretty fun side thing I usually do, you know.
I love that. Oh my God, we actually have a lot of things in common. Yeah, we're doing all the little advertisements and stuff, you know, for the podcast, like for other projects and stuff too. So, I mean, that's super awesome. And like, you definitely got the energy for an actor, man. Like you got something, you got that special oomph, you know, that star, what do they call it? That star quality. I could definitely see you like in a movie or something. So you should definitely continue to pursue that. Like, and the gaming thing too, man. Like, and you never know, maybe you'll be the one of those like creators, or you create a whole new game and stuff. That'll be cool. But yeah, so you have a communications degree. Where did you go to school?
At TEMU here in Laredo.
Oh, that's super awesome.
Yeah, that was pretty
awesome. Like, what do you plan to do with that?
I'm kind of using it, not like as a plan B, but always like in the back of my head, like a break glass in case of emergency kind of deal. Like when inevitably like I have to stop wrestling and stuff, it's like, okay, like there's a lot of markets that require a communications degree when it comes to media, television, development of certain like technological things and all that. Like it's very widespread, which is the thankful part of having the degree. So it's like, I can venture somewhere, you know.
Have you ever thought about doing public speaking? Because I don't know, I just see you as like, you look like you'd be awesome, like on stage, like, you know, doing like a motivational speech or something, like, and they get paid pretty good from what I heard. Like,
yeah, I mean, if you think about it, going back to what you said about commentary and promos, in a way, it is public speaking because we are talking to an audience, whether it's live, post-production. So technically I have, but when it comes to...
You are a public speaker. And you're on our show, so yeah, you're definitely doing public speaking.
Right.
So the last question that I have for you before we leave is... we want you to come up with a new question for our next guest. Well, we're going to have two guests, so spoiler alert. They're comedians. So what question would you want to personally ask them?
Ooh, it's you said comedians, right?
Yes.
Comedians. I do know a couple locally and in the Valley. So like I'm a funny little story. It's basically almost intertwined. It's like in the same little circle of entertainment and stuff. Cause it's like work with people, you're on stage, you're performing, except we're physical. They just hold the mic and they make people laugh. With us, it's like, look, it's serious and intense. So now that I thought of that, I guess my question to them would be, let's see. I guess something along the lines of who's the comedian that inspired you to give it a shot and why? And what was basically the joke that got you hooked into that category of entertainment?
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, well, we're going to write that down for them. There's the coming. Right. Have you ever thought of coming on stage and doing any type of comedy?
Well, I going back to the minor in theater arts, there was a final, or not a final. It was like every few weeks we had to do some sort of performance art. And oh man, I'm not sure how it really went, but I basically did like 5 minutes of a small stand-up routine with just a lot of cheesy like jokes and stuff. But that was in front of like 20, 25 classmates. So technically I did. And I got a decent reception, but it's like, I don't know if this is my flavor, but much respect to them. Because with me, it's like, I'd rather slam someone, I'd rather talk. Right. It's like, I want to punch someone sometimes,
I'm like, should I go on stage and roast someone?
I mean, I've thought about that before. That's basically a promo.
You know what would be kind of cool? How about a whole wrestlers roast? Get all the wrestlers together, or you pick one special one and just everyone, like on Comedy Central, that show, and they would do like celebrity roast or whatever, and they would get like 10 people together. And then they'd be like, oh, this is special. And they'd put them in the king chair, right? And they'd be like, ooh, you're royalty, just so that they can all like beat on their like confidence. Oh, that's so funny, man. That's hilarious. Well, that'd be cool. Maybe you guys can think about it. I'd definitely watch that. So do you want to plug in any shows? Do you guys have any shows coming up?
Actually, yes. Back to the VSR arena situation. On Saturday, 5-Star Wrestling Academy has their annual show that they do every few months called The Showdown. It takes place this Saturday, 7 p.m. Tickets are $10 each, and family friendly. Bring the kids, bring the uncles, the aunts, just have a great Saturday to yourselves, and on September the 17th, there's going to be a show with the Laredo Wrestling Alliance at the Firefighters Reception Hall, which is near where Movies 12 used to be, and that plaza where 5 and Below is, and Coles, if I'm not mistaken. So that's 2 shows for your bargain right there. And
awesome.
Friendly, really fun, and your boy will be there along many others.
So it's next Saturday or tomorrow?
Tomorrow is 5-Star. Next Saturday is LWA.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you so much for that. You want to plug yourself in? We got 10 minutes. Well, like 8 more minutes on here before we get kicked off.
I got you. I'll keep it short and sweet to the point. So when it comes to my social media on Facebook, I'm under Dyl Dempsey. I do have a fan page and a personal page that I do post on, so they're both kind of intertwined. I don't have a personal YouTube account, but a lot of my matches and promos are there just to type Dyl Dempsey. On Instagram, I'm under Dempsey956. And Twitter, I rarely get on Twitter, but it's under Dempsey ROR 913 for updates and flyer information and stuff. So I'm basically everywhere at this rate, trying to promote myself, see my matches, and just to spread the word on out there, y'all. And hopefully I get to make new adventures with those who discover it.
Well, that is so awesome. Everybody, go check him out. whatever platform you got, he just plugged himself in, go to the shows. And I just want to say again, thank you so much for coming on to the show here. And yeah, we've already, all the links will be provided on the description box. So we just want to say thank you for watching, everybody. My name is Miss Monroe. We got Dyl Dempsey. We will catch you on the next one.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Bye.